Okay, we got some cricket news to discuss. Chris Woakes has decided to retire from international cricket at age 36. He's decided to come to this decision because of his omission from the Ashes squad. I think this would have been his last opportunity to make an Ashes squad. I think at his age, considering injuries have impacted his career quite a bit, if we're being honest, injuries have restricted his career at times since his Test debut in 2013 and his T20 debut in 2011. So, look, he's been playing international cricket for 14 years, Test cricket for 12 years. He did make his debut in the fifth Test against Australia in the 2013 Ashes series. So, that's some way to make a debut in a series like that. And I think his best Test moments actually came in the Ashes in 2023. 19 wickets in that series, which was a fantastic series to watch and read about. And I think if it was on free to air TV, it would have got a lot more coverage, and I think a lot more people would just know how good a player Chris Woakes actually is. I think he's underrated, but injuries did impact him over his career. The fact he's only a few months older than me is stunning. I didn't realise he was 36, and it's mad to think that he actually made his international debut back in 2011 in a T20 match. He did play 62 tests for England, 192 wickets, 2,034 runs. So he was a pretty handy batsman as well as a pretty decent bowler. I do think he's criminally underrated as a player, in my personal opinion. But those 19 wickets in the 2023 Ashes series, I think, is the highlight of his Test career, in his 12-year Test career. Debuts against Australia. The highlight of his career is the 2023 Ashes, with his performances with injury as well. He was fighting injury in that series. 122 one-day internationals as well, including the 2019 World Cup, where he was part of that winning squad. 173 wickets in one-day cricket, 1,524 runs. So he was pretty handy in the shorter formats of the game as well, and only, 510 runs less than at Test level in ODIs. So he was very, very handy in the shorter format of the game with the bat. And just as devastating with the ball in hand as well. Obviously, 50 over cricket is significantly different to Test cricket, with how you use your bowlers and bowling stints and power play overs, and the way the ball moves, the white ball compared to the Test ball. But pretty handy stats there. Again, I think he's criminally underrated. He was an integral part of the 2019 World Cup winning side. That beat New Zealand in the final. 33 T20s. I'm a bit surprised with the number of T20s he played, considering he debuted in 2011. Only the 31 wickets and only 147 runs. Now, yes, T20 is a bit more of a specialist format of the sport, if we're being honest. And I think Chris Woakes was more suited to the 50 over and the test arena than the T20 arena. If you really want to utilise lengthy bowling stints and a very aggressive batsman that Chris Woakes was, yes, you could be aggressive in T20, but he only scored 147 runs. It's how they use him. I think it's how the England team used him as a batsman. He obviously takes wickets, but T20 sometimes it's very difficult to take wickets, especially if you've got two aggressive batsmen at the crease. The score can balloon. I don't think Chris Woakes' game was suited to the T20 format, but definitely a great servant for England at the international level in all three formats for 14 years. And look, he's decided to retire at this point from the Test arena. He will still play in the county game, and he's been a great servant to the county game as well. And yet another one of a golden generation of England players is stepping away from the Test side. Now, I do think the Test side is sort of in a transition phase, and I do think they're going to miss the likes of Jimmy Anderson, Stuart Broad, and now Chris Woakes from that bowling attack. The bowling attack with England is transitioning and changing, and some younger players are coming into the Test arena, and I do think the England Test side is currently in a transition at the moment. The debate around Bazball and the style of play that England are playing, whether it's a good style of play or is it a flawed style of play that is sort of plan A but doesn't have a plan B, that debate's out there, whether the style of play that they're playing with McCullum as Brendan McCullum as coach and Ben Stokes as captain is the right style is a debatable point. But Chris Woakes has been a great servant for England and a great servant to Test cricket in general and one-day cricket. and I think he was criminally underrated as an all-rounder and as a player in general. Very handy with the bat and could bowl some devastating spells with the ball as well. That 2023 Ashes series and the 2019 World Cup testify just how good a player he actually was. It's a shame that injuries have obviously massively impacted his career, but he's been a great servant for a very long time. So there we go. Thank you very much for watching. Place your thoughts on Chris Woakes in the comment section below. Actually, his batting average at times is higher than some of the openers England have had during his time as a Test player. He averages around 28, 29, sometimes as high as 30 with the bat. Some of the openers we've had are averaging less than that now. So he could be pretty decent with the bat when required, and getting over 2,000 Test runs is nothing to sneer at. That is some pretty good return for more of a bowling all-rounder than a batting all-rounder. But there we go. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll have some more content for you all very, very soon.